Hi and welcome back. What I have today is a little radio that my uncle gave me. It's a His Master's Voice model 62-52. He gave it to me on the condition that I did a restoration on it, so that's where I am today. Now when I got the radio it had this knob missing, so I have purchased a new knob for this, so now I can do a restoration on this. So what the problem with it is because hasn't been tested. I haven't tested. The cable was cut off when I got it, and of course you can see this, that someone's put it on something very hot and it's all melted the bottom of this. But apart from that, it's not too bad. It's got a few scratches on here. Of course it's discoloured. I have a bleach that I may soak it in and see how that comes up, to see if that's going to make it look a lot better. So the back's not too bad, it's just really the bottom there where it's got a few cracks here, chips out of here, and of course the main part is this where it's melted here. So I have two things I'm going to try and do with this. What I'm going to try and do is heat this up and try and put this back into the right shape, and then fill this and then just probably paint the lot. But if I can't do that, I'm going to paint everything here and just see how that goes. But yeah, so I'll either just paint the bottom if I can fix this, or I'll end up just painting the whole lot. So let's open it up to have a look what's inside. Okay, so looking at that from there, it looks like I can see that looks like the valves are all there, so it hasn't been stripped down or anything like that. It looks fairly clean. It's got a little bit of dust and that type of thing there, and as I said, the power cable's been cut off. So I'll continue to dismantle this, and I'll take the chassis out, and then we'll be able to look at the shell on the inside. This is one of the exciting parts where you get to pull the chassis out and have a look to see if anyone's done any work underneath. So here we can see here where it's all been melted. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with that. As I say, I'll try a couple of different things. I've just got a schematic or the valve layout here. And also shows you the dial string layout here. So here we have the chassis. Valve's a little bit loose, that's right, but it all looks to be there. Speaker's not too bad, it's got a little crack there. And now let's have a look underneath. Okay, so I can see that it's had a bit of work done on it. Still got some of the paper capacitors in it. So there's the new different capacitors being replaced. One here. Not quite sure about that resistor. It's got this as just some little critter that's laid an egg on here or something. That looks fairly clean under there, it's not too bad. I think that's meant to go under there, that's it. That all still moves. So there's not a great deal of capacitors. These are just AM radios, so yeah, so this is pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I will put a cable on the end of this and plug this into the Variac and the dim bulb tester, and we'll just see if it's going to work before we go any further with this. But I'll do a couple of tests with this power transformer here, and we'll just see if make sure there's no shorts in it, and go from there. Okay, so we've got I've put a cable on here. to power it up, and I've run it over here to the dim bulb tester, which then runs through the isolation transformer and a variac, which is just out of camera here. I have I'll just turn this on here, and we can see I've got it set on around about 230. I will drop that down to around about 220, something like that, 219, and I have it on. I have the power on here, and I have the on one bulb only and power on. So we'll just power this on now, and we'll just see what happens. We're hoping for these lights to brighten up and then dim down. And nothing. Let's just change that. So that brightened up a little bit, then dimmed down, so that's good. I can see that this tube here's lit, so we'll just wait and see what happens. There's a little bit of static. So I can hear a little bit of a hum in there. I could see that at least one of the valves brightened up. So what I'll do is I'll do a little bit more checking, and we'll see how things go from there. Okay, so what I was able to do is I did a little bit of a wiggle of the valves here, and we'll give it a go now. Let's see if it works. The dial bulbs are on here. Ah, yeah, so we have a little bit more volume. I haven't got a very good aerial on there, so. Might just go to full power. Okay, so I can hear something. So it looks like we've got a couple of dirty valve seats there, bases there, so we need to clean all that up.
How about you? What have you? 31873, just news here. Canberra's 4 days as the nation's only coronavirus-free jurisdiction. It's come to an end. A woman in her 20s is
the volume's not as good as it should be, so maybe we'll just give it a good clean up and change those wax capacitors in there, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, so I'm just looking at the case here. I took out the instructions here on where the valves were and the dial string layout. It wasn't very good, so I'm going to print a new one for this. So I've given this a good clean, and it did come up not too bad actually, but I'm sort of not quite sure what I'm going to do here at this stage. I'm looking at this if I was going to try and remelt this area and put it back into its proper position, but I don't think it's really going to work that well. So I may end up repairing this with some like some putty or something like that, and reshape it and maybe repaint the whole lot. I'm not quite sure yet, but anyway, so the other thing I was looking at is cleaning the paint off the back of this. Behind this is clear, and then it has a paint sprayed on the back of it. So I tried to clean a bit of it off just using a bit of steel wool, and that was sort of working, but not really working that well. So I looked at doing some paint stripping, but I was concerned that it may affect the plastic, melt the plastic. So what I thought I'd just quickly try is I just got some methylated spirits. Here is some methylated spirits, and it seems to work very well on this paint. I'm not quite sure what the paint is that they've painted the back of this, but I'll just put a bit on here. You see that's clear, there's nothing there, and I'll start giving it a bit of a rub. And you can see there that it's coming off. So that looks like that might be the go. So there you see, you can see how it's coming off pretty good. So that's good, just methylated spirit seems to bring it up really well, and that shouldn't affect the plastic too much whatsoever. That just dissolves straight away. There's a bit of a big hollow there, so I'll just sort of try and straighten this up first. But you can see there, because when you heat it, it discolours. So it's not going to be very good to try and fix all this. That's why I'm going to have to probably grind this back and then fill this with some putty and reshape this, and probably with a crack there that needs fixing. Okay, so what I've done is I've marked this section here that I'm going to take out first, and then I'll start working on reshaping this and some filling, and put probably a plate underneath here and fill this area as well. I need to fix this as well, this section here. Okay, so I've got it to this stage. What I'll start doing is start filing this, cleaning all this area up, and trying to get it straight lines through here, and then I'll go from there to start doing some putty work. Okay, so just looking at this, after I've cut this out, I think I might be able to do something with the front here so that it doesn't look too bad. I could probably just fill this section in here with the putty, and then maybe sort of match the paint along this edge here and not have to paint the whole lot. It has got some discoloration on there, but I have this peroxide here that I purchased to do this job, so I think I might try and put this on here and see how it comes up, and go from there, because I would prefer not to paint it. It's got a few scratches on there, but I might be able to get those out. Okay, so we'll put some of this on and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've put some peroxide all over it. I've just got some foil there covered with Glad Wrap. Then I painted the peroxide on, and then I covered it with Glad Wrap again. So what I've got to do now is just leave it in the sun. I did try it on here yesterday, but I didn't leave it in the sun long enough, so I've redone this area here, but now I've done the whole thing, and we'll just leave it out here and we'll keep an eye on it and see how it goes. Okay, so I've given this a little bit of a polish. I use this product here. It seems to work very well, actually. I've used this on Bakelite as well, and it works really good. So now I need to have a look at the damage underneath here that I've cut out. I've had a broken section here and a crack through here, so I've super glued that. And I'm going to try something different here. I'm probably going to try and make up a fiberglass through here and here. I know the fiberglass doesn't stick very well, the resin doesn't stick very well to plastic, but that's fine. I just wanted to try and make this kind of fit in here, and then from there I'll be able to, if I need to, I can JB weld it to the plastic. So I'm going to look at doing that now. So what I'm going to try and do now is repair this, repair the hole here and this section here. So I've got a bit of fiberglass here. I'm going to put this in here and put the resin over, and that will give me a backing that I can then put the putty on here so it doesn't fall through, and fix this section up here as well. So I've just cut a piece of fiberglass and I'm going to rough this surface up. Now the thing with fiberglass, the resin doesn't really stick to plastics very well. I haven't tried it with this type of older plastics, but we'll give it a go anyway. If worst comes to worst, we can then use some JB Weld to hold this down, and this will just be a backing really, just to stop the putty from falling through. Okay, so it's been 24 hours, or nearly 24 hours since I've put the fiberglass on, and it's definitely gone off, and it has bonded to the plastic. Well, good enough that it's not going to fall off or anything like that. So you can see here it's sealed pretty good along here as well. So what I'm going to do now is mix up I have some of this putty. It's a 2-part mix, and I'm going to mix up some of this now, and I'm going to start filling up these areas around here, and these areas around here, and then we can sand it back, and then we can try and match the paint a bit. It's not going to really matter too much around the bottom here, it's just maybe on the sides here I need to make a little bit of extra effort here to try and to blend it in. But it's at the back, so there's not going to be too much of a drama, I don't think. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Okay, so the putty's all dried. I have been cleaning it off already. I didn't video it because it makes such a mess. Basically what I used was just a grinder with like a sanding disc on it, and it's a matter of doing this to get it to nearly to the right level, and then after that we're going to use a bit of sandpaper to do a bit more, and then probably at the end a little bit of it wet and dry, and then probably use some spray putty and then some wet and dry again. Right, so I've done a lot of preparation here. I've done the all the putty work, sanded it back, spray puttied it, and we're going to sanded all that back, and I've prepped it all. So now I'm going to start doing a bit of spraying. I was able to pick up two different colours from the hardware shop. One looks a little bit darker, the other one looks a little bit lighter, so I'm just going to start giving it a bit of a spray and see here what's probably the best colour for it. I think we'll go with this colour here. It probably looks like it's going to match the best. Just a gloss cream. Gloss lace, okay. Go with this one. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for a while, make sure it's dry before I continue putting more coats on here, and then we'll come back to it once it's done. Painted it all several times. There's a little bit of a problem here where the fiberglass sort of joined there. It's the paint doesn't want to stick to it, but I've given it a few coats and it is on the bottom. It's a bit hard to see. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Okay, so we're going to pull some of this tape off now and just see how well it worked. It's always the exciting part. See there, it's, you know, so it is a little bit different in colour, but we'll also give it a bit of a polish. Hopefully that will sort of blend in. Or not. there is, you can see the join there, the difference in colour. Of course you're never going to match it perfectly. Once I polish this up a bit, once this paint dries, I'll give it a full 24 hours. I think it's going to be fine. And I'll be able to clean along this joint here, this seam, and it'll all blend in. That I've given the chassis a bit of a clean up, I'm going to start looking at replacing some of these old capacitors. I'll replace this one as well, plus the electrolytics. They're actually on order, so I'll get to those when they come in, but at the moment I'll just replace all of these capacitors, get rid of these old wax capacitors, and replace them with some of these nice new ones. The electrolytic capacitors came in. I only really got what I needed to fix this radio. So I have two 16s here and two 24s. The 24 is just for this one here, don't need this one, and the 216 is to replace this double one here. So I'm going to start looking at doing that now. So it's all back together. I've got it plugged in here, it's not turned on yet, but I'm going to test it through the dim bulb tester again. So I've painted all the front and painted the speaker there to try and clean it all up a bit. All the valves are back in. This was a little bit sticky, so I've fixed all this up, and now we're going to turn it on and just have a look at work here and see what happens. I haven't got an aerial on. I should put an aerial on it. Okay, so we'll just try it with that. So I've just got on one bulb at the moment. Power on. I've got it on, turn that down a little bit. Got on about 216. I must have this off. Lit up, dim down straight away. Pulling about 716 watts. Okay, so let me turn this off and have a look to make sure everything's right. I checked everything, it looked fine, but I'll just double check it all. After having a look at the schematic and then looking here in the unit here, the radio, it looks like there's a capacitor missing, so it looks like someone's taken the capacitor out. So I'm just going to put one in here, and then we're just going to turn it on again to see if we get some volume out of this. I did get it to work, but there was just no volume. It was something really strange. So anyways, we'll just see what happens here. That sounds better straight up. Let me put an aerial on here.
I said, I looked at it. So I took it back to the post office and the pump doesn't work, mate. Can I have any money? So he gave me money back anyway.
We've got a bit of volume there now.
Yeah, the gentleman as a whole. All of them, if you got some service
strange, as soon as you touch the chassis.
Well, do what they... Did you look at the providers? Adequate or in their qualifications and ability to provide?
Okay, so we're getting there. There seems to be something else missing. I need to probably put the schematic here all on a piece of paper and work out what they've actually done here. You can see that they've made a lot of mess in there. So anyway, so I'm going to sit down and do that. I've put in this capacitor here that bridged it across here to the volume control, and the other thing that I did find was that the tone here, see if I can tone here, one of the legs was touching the speaker, so that was causing a problem as well. So let's just see if we can get this to work again. I'll turn this around the right way. We'll start it again on dim bulb.
EU //ប្រូណាវ៉ៃរ៉េសនេះចងក្រងដោយ Alan Lee និង
It would help if I had a better aerial. It's just a bit of wire on the ground.
You're going to need one. Yes, I'm going to need an alarm clock. Now, what's the music that Mum and Dad must have worn it through with the needle on the record player? So there was with the hands was Frankie Lay. 6 years knew the word.
Okay, and the volume's working fine. So I'll finish tidying this up a little bit and finish off the box, and then we'll start putting this all back together. Okay, so I'm just looking at the knobs here, and they're in very good condition at the front. I've given them a bit of a clean up, but what I need to do is to try and repair this broken section in here. This is what it's meant to look like. So my thoughts are, as I'm thinking of what I'll do is I'll fill this up with wax in here and then reshape the outside of the wax where the spindle is supposed to fit into here, and then I'll fill this with some JB Weld to form the shape, so then it will fit on the spindle, which and with the JB Weld it'll probably make this section a lot stronger. So just see, it needs to have a little bit of a step out here. That I have all the wax in here, I need to shape this, so I'm just going to use a Stanley knife here to work my way across this here to try and shape all this, to try and only leave the wax there as what the hole would be, and then I'll fill this with some JB Weld, and then to get the wax back out just need to use some warm water or something like that to try and get not the wax so it'll pour out, then we'll just leave a hole so it will look like that. So I'll put the wax in, and I've shaped this probably as best as I can. This one was probably a little bit easier, but then anyway, so I'm going to put some JB Weld in that, and then we'll just see how it comes up. If this is a little bit too tight on the shaft, it doesn't matter, I have some small files that'll be able to shape the inside of this anyway. Once I get the wax out, which is just a little bit of hot water to heat it up a bit just to get the wax to run out, that'll be fine. So I'm going to start putting some JB Weld in that and see how that came up. So it's been 24 hours since I put the JB Weld in here, and it's definitely gone hard. So what the first thing I need to do is to file this off here so it's flush with the white part of the knob, and here's one that I prepared earlier. So you can see here it's just the JB Weld there, and it's got the wax in the middle. Now it's probably just going to be easy enough just to dig this out with a screwdriver or something like that. So I'll continue doing that, and I'll probably file this edge off here so this will be nice and round around here, and I'll come back to it once I've done that. Probably about 10 minutes to file both of those up. I clean the wax out with a screwdriver and just a little bit of a quick clean with a small riffle file in the keyway there, and then we'll see how it fits on. Okay, so they seem to work fine. What I might just do is I might tape this up and give them a little bit of a quick white paint on the back, or a cream paint here, and that should just look fine. Okay then, so I finally put it all back together, and I've given it a little bit of a quick clean, and so this is how it's come up here. So you can see this. The light's a little bit hard, but you can see that edge is not too bad. So it sits down like that. I put a couple of little felt things on the bottom there, and that's the side of it there. You can hardly even, that's right underneath there where that join, where that broken section there was. That's just a little bit of stuff there. I'll clean that up later. And on this side, so that's that. We were patched to turn this around, and we'll turn this on. Well, this is the top too. So I'll just turn this on now. You see the dial lights have lit up there.
Is my nubby here on 90 News. I'm Brooke Cordy. You know when you're on one of those WhatsApp groups that just a couple of days in 75 in the silence of 1991.
Oh, nice. Okay, I've seen that at least.
Yeah. Who played Danny Ocean in Ocean's 11 in 2001?
George Clooney?
Yeah.
So there you go. So maybe some of you have wondered why I kept this clear. I didn't end up painting the back of this, and there was a reason for that. I wanted to try something different, so there was a reason for it, and this is what it was.
Many say they just won't be able to hold on. Are you fuming about this? 131873. People operating in far north Queensland, where it's supposed to be the high season. I mean, in Victoria, I see a Victorian Tourism Industry Council survey saying more than 2/3 of Victorian tourism operators doubt their ability to reopen within the next 3 months, even though we've got restrictions starting to ease. Jobs are on the line and borders remain closed. It's interesting though, as I said, we're making our lists and we are getting excited. We want to get out there and see our country. Well, somewhere where I think is one of the best destinations in Australia, and in fact, it's on my top 3 list in the world, is the stunning and beautiful Lord Howe Island. It is heaven on earth. It's a World Heritage Site. It's about 2.5 hours flight off the coast.
Okay, so thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please press the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, thank you.